Welcome back to Runabout Revival. Today we dig into the vital nervous system of our 91 Toyota Mr2 Turbo. In this episode, we're delving into the intricate world of electronics and engine management as we prepare for a transformation that will elevate our build to a new level of performance. As we strive for peak power and precision, we're beginning a deep dive into the body harness to prepare for the installation of a standalone engine management system. This modification isn't just about wires and connections, it's about unlocking the potential of our Mr2 Turbo's built engine, larger turbo, and higher flowing fuel system. Join me as we navigate the intricate world of wires, signals, and carefully modifying the body harness to pave the way for a seamless integration of the EMS. From blades and wire cutters to strippers, crimpers, soldering irons, and circuit diagrams, this episode is a testament to the fusion of technical prowess and pure automotive passion. Also, nobody else seemed to want to do it, and it's hard to start a car without wiring, so this is Runabout Revival. Alright, getting back to it. Well, I've jumped ahead a couple steps and I wanted to catch you guys up. This is my extra turbo harness I have removed from the car. Just going through making sure that it looked to be in good shape. It's probably been 10 or 15 years since it's not been curled up in a box, so I just want to pull it all out, take a look at it, make sure it's all pretty much intact and how I remember it. Much of this harness is going to get chopped up anyhow, but I just want to make sure really the plugs were in good shape and usable. More to come on that later though. I actually have to remove the body harness that's in it currently, so I'm in the process of pulling that out. This is all of the loom that came out of the trunk, mostly taillights and things. And then up here, try to cover that up. That's the harness that plugs in up here on the kick panel, which is all removed here. And then it goes back. I was just taking off. This goes to this here. It's a little grounding strap. And that's pretty much it. I have to undo this connector. And I've already undone the other couple that are there. I'm just gonna pull this back through the firewall into the engine bay. This harness is in better shape than the other one, so I'm actually gonna keep this together. Even though it's an NA harness, it's just not worth tearing it up. I also finished off the new water neck. And I also put in the much shorter bypass hose. Took the harness out. You can see the damage to the radiator overflow tank. I'm going to be taking that off while this is not here. I'm also going to be building a custom engine harness and moving a lot of this stuff to other places. We're going to be mounting the EMS system in the back, inside the car, instead of out here. More on that later. I wanted to put down both the NA harness on the left that was in the car and the turbo harness on the right. Both of these are from a, I believe a 91 car, 91 or 92 on the right potentially, but I'm not sure. Very similar, if not identical. And I'm going to be cutting a lot of it loose anyways, but as you can see, they're very similar. All the way up to the top.
Well, I guess that's it.
Okay, catching up from where I was last time. My camera actually died while I was doing the wiring, and so I apologize. I dropped some of that footage. Just to catch you guys up, really all I've eliminated so far from this harness is IE3, which I've been clipping instead of depinning, just because I want to get the wires out of loom first and come back and depin the ends later. I've already identified these 4 cables I'm going to eliminate from this connector, and then I have yet to go through this last connector here. That wraps around here, comes down. This wiring harness is for the taillights, goes to the trunk. There's the 40 amp line and alternator cable. This is body harness ground right here. And then these are the free wires that will eventually be dedicated into a connector. And we'll go over that a little bit later here, but just want to catch up to where we were. Again, so far this is what I've been able to eliminate out of the harness. Pretty good. And here's the factory, unmessed up yet, harness from the body of the NA chassis, starting at the tail. There's the fuse box, just completely eliminated. You can see it's down under a bunch of those wires under there. And then moving forward, this was an automatic body harness, so a lot more wires there than you're used to seeing. Again, the body ground, moving up to the connectors in front. After I finish the body harness, I'm going to go ahead and redo the engine harness as well. There's a lot of plugs we don't need anymore for like the cold start injector stuff under here. For a couple other things that were just like cruise control. There's wiring a couple of different places for air conditioning, compressor stuff, all that stuff that I don't need anymore, so we'll get rid of that. Also, aftermarket Spall fan over there as well. On the intercooler, it's a Greddy style. It's one of the knockoffs, I think, but it's a Greddy style intercooler. Honestly, I bought that 20 years ago, don't even remember. And I have a couple other new sensors, obviously the boost solenoid here. I have an FJO map sensor, since we're going from the MAF sensor, which is right here and looking like shite. No more of that, glad. And switching over to mass air pressure, MAP. It's late, I honestly can't remember. I think that's it, it's been a while. This is a brand new Aeromotive FPR. These are usually red on top, but Sun, Arizona? Yeah, so also might be switching over from this distributor, which again looks like shit, but everything here is all brand new, never been fired. So these are resistor packs for the injectors, I believe. Or also I think something having to do, there's something over here having to do with the fuel pump as well. We're getting rid of that stuff. We're using a larger fuel pump anyways. Right now we have a 255 LPH in there. I might actually switch that up because that's not E85 compatible, I believe. So gonna switch out some of that stuff anyways. And the only factory line for fuel left in this car, I think, is the pressure line coming off the pump back here. It would be nice to get rid of that and just one more new, clean, fresh part that I don't have to worry about. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to wiring. I'm gonna put this down and show you the rest of that clips I'm gonna do on those 2 other harnesses. Pull those wires out, see how small that wiring harness gets. Oh yeah, by the way, when I was doing that, move over here again. When I was doing that harness last time, I actually have no idea where my zip ties went. So I was using electrical tape, this very nice Tessa electrical tape, used by Tesla.
The Tesla techs tested the Teslas with Tessa tape.
I've heard. Anyways, yeah, so these work a lot better for pulling wire through than tape does because they just stick. So I just had to stop doing that and go to Harbor Freight and buy the world's biggest supply of random colors of zip ties. I'm literally ripping off Hux Racing's wiring that he does for his K20 swaps, but it works the same for all standalones, as he said, and really it's just the wires I need to run the EMS system. So we're just gonna keep going with this. I think this is the exact recipe I need to kind of get rid of all the extra crap I don't need in this harness, make it a lot easier to diagnose later when there's just half as many wires and no dead ends and a bunch of bullshit. And I'll be checking all these wires for continuance, so make sure the wire is complete all the way through. Maybe move the harness around a little bit, check it. Just don't want to have any broken wires in there that, you know, when you move the harness, it actually breaks the connection and then boom, you have a problem. So we're gonna check that on the bench before we go ahead and put this back in the car so I can replace those wires now and don't have to do it later. These are so rusty, but it doesn't matter because all of these wires are bad. Okay, so this wire is done. This is all that's left. So let's pull that out. Please tell me this hasn't been completely out of focus the whole time. Maybe it has. Alright. I think we might be good. Junk wires is getting bigger. And this is getting smaller. Cool. Of course, front side. Of course, they would try the wrong side. Alright. There's a little gap. Reach down right on the top of the metal. Fit a little plastic thing. Yep. Trick is to hold the wire you're pulling out. And feel it come loose. Just give it a little tension. Subtle. This is the right one. Yep. You gotta feel it come loose. Just try not to push on that button. Close it again. On the bottom. I think that was it. Just click that down. Flush. here. Got my little soldering station hooked up. This is the coolant sensor. It goes into the radiator, which is actually down here. It's already installed. And then this is supposed to be attached to the car. However, this one is not. I went ahead and stripped it. 2 wires there so I can have it prepared for reattaching to some good wire. All right, for the new radiator fan, since these are much thicker gauge wire than the connectors that I have in my shop right now, my garage, I'm just gonna actually cut the factory wiring off the old fans and use that, wire that in where the new shitty connector is on those fans that came with the radiator. To do that, I grabbed these fans here, and as you can see, the connector is attached via this little clip on the back to this metal thing here. If you just use a pick, gently pull up on that while you pull this off, it just slides right off there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it about there because that might have damaged the cables anyways, and I don't need that much cable. This is fine, just cut it there, leave some cable for someone else if they want to reuse it somehow. I trimmed off the weird rando ends that were on these aftermarket fans, as well as I took the old harness ends off the old fans just so I can just solder these on, wire colors even match, plug it right in as if it was factory. So that's cool. Okay, just finished soldering the factory connectors back onto the aftermarket fans on both sides. We'll shrink wrap and some Tessa tape.